My best friend's wife tried to cheat on him with me while he was deployed and said, "He is a pathetic loser, you are the real man." So I made sure she paid for it. Hey, Reddit. So my best friend's wife threatened to tell the cops I assaulted her. In writing. At 11:07 p.m. on a Tuesday. The guy I've known since 7th grade. The guy who was 6,000 miles away serving his country while she was showing up at my door in heels, trying to get me to ruin everything. It didn't go her way. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me set the scene before I explain how it all came apart. I, 28 male, run a contracting business. Crew of 6, booked through next spring. Built it from nothing with my hands. I don't do drama, I do invoices. My best friend Cole and I have been tight since 7th grade. We met when some older kids were giving me grief behind the gym and Cole walked up like he owned the place and told them to find something better to do. He was maybe 5'2" at the time, hadn't hit his growth spurt yet, but he had this energy that made people think twice. Those kids scattered. We've been brothers ever since. Growing up, Cole was the one who'd fight anyone who looked at his people wrong. I was the one who'd figure out how to get us out of trouble after he started something. We balanced each other out. He was all instinct and action. I was all planning and patience. Together, we were unstoppable. Still are. Cole joined the Army right out of high school, said he wanted to do something that mattered. Home life was rough, college wasn't in the cards, and there wasn't a clear path forward. The military gave him structure, purpose, a way out. I respected it. Not everyone's built for that life, but Cole was. He thrived, worked his way up, became someone his unit relied on. I was proud of him even when I missed having him around. 3 years ago, Cole met Kendra at some fundraiser event back home during his leave. She was 24 at the time, worked part-time at a real estate office doing administrative stuff, and had this whole polished look going on. Cole was smitten from day one. Said she was the most beautiful woman he'd ever seen. I remember meeting her for the first time at a cookout Cole's family threw. She walked in and photographed the food before saying hello to anyone. Don't get me wrong, she was attractive, but there was something behind her eyes that never quite landed on you. She'd scan a room the way people scan a menu, looking for the best option. She wasn't living a life, she was staging one. I didn't say anything to Cole. What was I supposed to say? Hey man, your girlfriend gives me weird vibes? He was happy. Happier than I'd seen him in years. Kendra made him feel connected to something. That mattered more than my gut feeling. They dated for 2 years, mostly long distance. Kendra played the devoted girlfriend role perfectly, posted constantly about missing her soldier, counting down days, all that military spouse aesthetic content. She built a whole identity around it. It wasn't about Cole. It was about the narrative. They got married about a year ago at a courthouse ceremony right before Cole's next deployment. Small, quick, practical. Cole promised they'd do a big celebration when he got back. He was shipping out to the Middle East for what was supposed to be an 8-month deployment. Before he left, Cole pulled me aside at the going-away gathering his family threw. We were standing on his mom's back porch, just the two of us, the noise of the party muffled behind the screen door. He looked me dead in the eyes. "I need you to keep an eye on things while I'm gone," he said. "Not on Kendra specifically, just the house, the dog, general stuff. You know how it is." I told him I had his back. Didn't even hesitate. That's what brothers do. He hugged me, told me he loved me like family, and shipped out 2 days later. What happened next is why we're here. The first few weeks after Cole deployed were normal. Kendra texted me once asking if I could check on their dog Scooby because she was going to be out of town visiting her sister. No problem. I swung by, made sure Scooby had food and water, took him for a walk around the block. The house was clean, nothing out of place. Easy. Then she texted again a week later. The garbage disposal was making a weird noise. Could I take a look? I'm handy. Cole knew that, so this made sense. I went over, fixed it in about 10 minutes, tightened a loose blade that was rattling against the housing. She offered me something to drink, but I said I had a job site to get to, which was true. We were mid-demo on a bathroom remodel across town. 2 weeks after that, the texts started shifting. "Hey, thanks again for helping with Scooby. You're seriously the best. Cole's so lucky to have a friend like you. I don't know what I'd do without you around." Then came the late-night texts. "Can't sleep. It's so quiet here without him. Do you ever feel like you're just going through the motions? I feel like no one really gets me, except maybe you." I kept my responses short. "Hope you get some rest. Hang in there. Cole will be back before you know it." Gray rock energy. Give nothing to work with. Don't engage. Don't validate. Don't give her anything she can spin into something it's not. She didn't take the hint. One Saturday afternoon, I was at my place working on estimates for an upcoming kitchen remodel when my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. My truck was in the driveway, so anyone driving by would know I was home. Opened the door, and there was Kendra, dressed like she was going to a nice restaurant, holding a bottle of something expensive. "Hey," she said with this smile that was working overtime. "I was in the neighborhood and thought I'd stop by. I brought this as a thank you for all your help." I didn't let her in. Stood in the doorway and told her I appreciated the gesture, but I was slammed with work. She looked disappointed, but played it off. Said she understood. Left the bottle on my porch and walked back to her car, glancing over her shoulder twice. I'd already closed the door, but I checked my Ring camera footage later. She'd circled the block twice before pulling into my driveway, and she'd sat in her car for almost 10 minutes before getting out, checking her makeup in the mirror, adjusting her hair. That's not someone who happened to be in the neighborhood. That's someone who rehearsed an entrance. The next few weeks, she started making up reasons to come over. Needed help carrying something heavy from the garage. Wanted my opinion on a paint color for the living room Cole had been meaning to repaint. Had a question about the water heater that was acting up. Every time she was dressed for a date, not a house call. Heels, makeup, outfits that didn't make sense for someone asking about appliances. Every time she lingered. Every time I kept it professional and brief. Then she started testing the waters on Cole. Not the supportive wife stuff she posted online. The real stuff. The ugly stuff. "I don't know, sometimes I feel like I settled," she said one evening when she'd shown up unannounced again, claiming she couldn't get the garage door opener to work. "Cole's great and all, but he's so predictable, you know? Like, there's no excitement, no passion, no spontaneity." I didn't respond, just kept looking at the garage door mechanism I was supposedly there to examine. It worked fine, by the way. She'd probably just unplugged it. "He chose the military over me," she continued, leaning against her car with her arms crossed. "Did you know that? I asked him to get out, to find something that kept him home. He said no, said it was his calling or whatever. That service mattered more than anything else. How pathetic is that? Putting some abstract idea of duty over your own wife? Pathetic." She called my best friend pathetic. The guy who'd served 3 deployments, the guy who signed up because he actually gave a damn about something bigger than himself. The guy who loved her enough to marry her before shipping off to a war zone. Pathetic. I finished checking the garage door, told her it was working fine and she must have accidentally hit the disconnect switch, and left. She looked annoyed but masked it quick. "You're always so busy," she said as I walked to my truck. "We should hang out sometime, like actually hang out. No projects, just us." "I don't think that's a good idea, Kendra." Her smile flickered, just for a second. Then it came back, sharper, more deliberate. "Why not? We're friends, aren't we? You're Cole's wife. That's the relationship." I drove away. I had a feeling this was heading somewhere ugly, and I wanted the kind of documentation that holds up when someone starts lying. So I screenshotted everything. Over the next month, Kendra escalated hard. Explicit texts, photos I never opened but screenshotted. And then the wedge attempts. She started telling me Cole talked trash about me behind my back, that he thought my business was a joke, that I peaked in high school, that he only kept me around because I fixed things for free. I didn't respond to any of it, just kept my head down and fixed whatever appliance she'd conveniently broken that week. These were lies, and I knew it, because I knew Cole. 16 years of brotherhood doesn't get erased by a woman who'd been in his life for 3. But I documented every word, every claim, every attempt to isolate me. The final straw before I reached out to Cole came at a mutual friend's cookout in early July. About 30 people, backyard setup, nothing fancy, burgers on the grill, kids running around, typical Saturday afternoon gathering. Kendra was there performing the devoted military wife, showing people photos of Cole on her phone, talking about how much she missed him, about how hard it was to be apart. I was standing by the grill talking to our buddy Declan when Kendra walked up. Declan and I had been friends since I started the business. He'd helped me on a few jobs when I was short-staffed, good guy, reliable, zero tolerance for nonsense. He could read a room better than anyone I knew. Kendra approached with a glass in her hand, and this look in her eyes that Declan later described as predator spotting prey. "Gavin," she said, putting her hand on my chest like we were intimate, like this was something we did. "Can I talk to you for a second? Privately?" I stepped back. "Whatever you need to say, you can say here." Her eyes flashed with irritation. Then she leaned in close enough that Declan could still hear, and whispered something that I won't repeat, but involved very specific things she wanted to do with me, and very specific comments about how Cole couldn't satisfy her the way she needed. I looked her dead in the eyes. "You should go check on Scooby. I'm sure he misses you." Then I walked away. Declan caught up with me a few minutes later, his face somewhere between shock and disgust. "Dude, what was that about?" "Nothing good," I said. "But I'm handling it." Kendra left the party shortly after that, but the real chaos started 2 days later. I started getting texts from people in our friend group asking if I was okay. Weird questions about my situation, vague references to things people had heard. Then my buddy Jordan called me directly. Bro, I gotta ask you something and I need you to be straight with me, he said. Kendra's telling people you've been hitting on her, like aggressively. She says you've been texting her inappropriate stuff and showing up at her place uninvited. She's telling everyone she's uncomfortable around you. I laughed. Actually laughed out loud. Jordan, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I figured it was bull, but she's been crying to everyone about it. Some people are buying it. She's playing the scared military wife whose husband's best friend is harassing her. It's a whole performance. And there it was. She flipped it fast. Made me the villain before I could speak. She played scared so fast it would make your head spin. I'd rejected her at a cookout surrounded by witnesses, so she sprinted to everyone we knew and rewrote the scene with herself in the lead role. Over the next week, I got iced out. People stopped inviting me to things. Group chats went quiet when I entered. A couple of guys in the group confronted me separately, wanting to hear my side. I kept it simple. Ask her to show you the texts, the ones she claims I sent. She won't, because they don't exist. None of them asked her. But the seed was planted. Now they had something to chew on. Then I lost the Dawson job. I'd been in talks for 3 weeks with a couple over in Ridgemont about a full kitchen and bath remodel. Signed the scope of work, ordered materials, had my crew scheduled to start demo the following Monday. It was a $38,000 job, 6 weeks of work for my guys. The wife called me on a Thursday morning, voice tight, wouldn't make small talk. Said they'd decided to go in a different direction. When I asked if something had changed, she got quiet for a second and said, "We just think it's best." Click. I found out later from Declan that the wife was in some neighborhood Facebook group with 2 women from Kendra's circle. You do the math. I never got details on what exactly was said, but I didn't need them. When you're a small contractor, your name is your business. One whisper in the right ear, and 38 grand evaporates overnight. That hit different. The social stuff I could stomach. Losing friends hurts, but it's recoverable. Losing money that my crew was counting on? That put food off someone's table. That wasn't just Kendra messing with me. That was her messing with 6 guys who had nothing to do with any of this. Refunded their deposit that same day, didn't need a chargeback on top of everything else. Documented the loss, the amount, the cancellation. Added it to the file. Then came the threat. Kendra texted me on a Tuesday night at 11:07 p.m. I still have the screenshot saved in 3 different places. I know you're trying to turn people against me. Stop. If you say anything to Cole, I swear to God I'll tell everyone you assaulted me. I'll go to the police. I'll ruin your life, your business, everything. You think anyone's going to hire a contractor who has that kind of accusation hanging over him? Try me. I read that message about 15 times. I saved it to my laptop, my phone, and the encrypted drive, and added it to the case file. She just threatened to file a false police report to cover her tracks. And she put it in writing. She'd already written the ending. She just didn't know it was hers. I called Cole the next day. I thought a lot about it. It was not an easy thing to say, but had to be done video call, since regular calls were spotty where he was stationed. He looked tired, but good. Tan from the sun, a little leaner than when he left. There was sand in the background and the sound of machinery somewhere distant. "What's up, brother?" he said. "Everything okay back home?" "No," I said. "It's not, and I need to send you something." I tried to keep this quiet. She wouldn't let me. His face changed, got serious. That switch from casual to combat ready, that military guys develop. "What are you talking about?" "I'm sending you a file. It's everything. Texts, voicemails, screenshots, ring camera footage, all of it, from the past 4 months. I need you to look at it when you have time and then call me back. Whatever you decide after that, I'm with you. But you deserve the truth, Cole. You've always deserved the truth." I sent the file. The case file was comprehensive enough to walk into a courtroom with. Then I waited. 3 days. Nothing. I didn't push. This wasn't something you rush someone through. The man was processing the fact that his entire marriage was a fraud while sitting in a combat zone. He needed time. Then my phone rang at 2 a.m. Cole's voice was calm. Too calm. The kind of calm that comes right before everything changes. "I saw everything," he said. "I'm sorry, man. I didn't know how to—" "Don't apologize. You did exactly what you should have done. You did what a brother does." He paused. I could hear him breathing. Steady, controlled. "I'm coming home in 6 weeks. Early release, some paperwork shuffling. Doesn't matter how I made it happen. What matters is this. Don't do anything yet. Don't confront her. Don't tell anyone else. We're going to handle this together." "What do you mean?" "I mean she wanted to play games. Now we're going to play games. But our way. And when it's over, she's going to wish she'd just been a decent human being." I'd never heard Cole sound like that before. Cold. Calculated. like he'd already written the ending and was just waiting to execute it. Tell me what you need, I said. First, I need you to stop shutting her down so hard. Don't flirt back, don't engage, but stop being so cold. Let her think she's making progress. Let her dig her own grave deeper. You want me to bait her. I want her to incriminate herself so thoroughly that there's no version of the story where she comes out clean. I want her to feel so confident that she gets sloppy. Can you do that? I thought about everything she'd put me through, the lies she'd spread, the threats she'd made, the way she'd called my best friend pathetic behind his back while posting heart emojis online, the 38 grand my crew lost because she couldn't keep her poison to herself. Yeah, I said. I can do that. Good. I'll handle everything else from here. Legal, financial, the setup. You just keep her thinking she's winning. The next 6 weeks were a masterclass in patience and strategy. Cole played the perfect husband from overseas. Calls every few days, flowers delivered to the house, sweet messages about how much he missed her, how he couldn't wait to hold her again, how she was the only thing getting him through the deployment. Kendra ate it up, posted about it constantly. My husband is the best. Can't wait for him to come home. True Love Military Edition. She had no idea he'd seen everything. No idea the flowers were cover. No idea every sweet word was part of the setup. Meanwhile, I followed Cole's instructions. Stopped being as cold. Responded to her messages with things like, hope you're doing okay, and let me know if you need anything. Nothing flirtatious, just warmer than before. Opened the door a crack. She kicked it down. Over the next few weeks, she sent more explicit texts, more photos, more voicemails talking about leaving Cole and how I was the one she really wanted. Same playbook, just louder. I saved every single one. The file was getting massive. Court ready. About 3 weeks into the plan, Kendra almost blew the whole thing up. She texted me one afternoon, and the tone was different. Careful. Testing. Hey, did Cole sound weird to you on his last call? He said something about knowing who his real ones are. Made me kind of nervous. Did you say something to him? My stomach dropped. I stared at that text for a solid 5 minutes before responding. Too defensive and she'd know. Too casual and she'd press harder. I went with confused. Weird how? He sounded normal when I talked to him last week. Probably just deployment stuff, man. Those guys get philosophical when they're bored. She didn't respond for 2 hours. Longest 2 hours of the whole 6 weeks. Then, yeah, you're probably right. I'm overthinking it, lol. I exhaled. But I called Cole that night and told him to dial back the poetic stuff. Keep it simple. Miss you, love you, counting the days. Nothing that could be read as loaded. Good catch, he said. She's smarter than she acts. Then, 4 days later, she showed up at my house unannounced. My Ring camera pinged, and I glanced at my phone. Kendra's car, pulling into the driveway. I was at my kitchen table with Declan, the case file open on my laptop. Printed timeline spread across the table. Encrypted drive plugged in. Declan, move. He didn't ask questions. Swept the papers into a folder, I slammed the laptop shut and shoved the drive into a kitchen drawer. Declan grabbed his keys and ducked out through the garage side door about 15 seconds before I heard her knock on the front. I opened the door. She was in a sundress this time, no pretense of a house repair excuse. Hey, can I come in? I really need to use the bathroom. Bathroom's being redone, I said. Ripped the tile out yesterday. A lie, but a believable one for a contractor. She tried to look past me into the house. I shifted to block the angle. She held eye contact for a beat too long, like she was trying to read something off my face. My pulse was doing things it shouldn't have been doing. You okay? She asked. You seem tense. Long day. Got a walkthrough tomorrow morning, and I'm buried in estimates. She studied me for another second, then smiled. Whatever she'd been looking for, she either didn't find it or convinced herself she was imagining things. Okay, well, I just wanted to say hi, and that I've been thinking about what you said last week, about letting you know if I need anything. She bit her lip. I might take you up on that. Sure. Get home safe, Kendra. I closed the door, waited until her car was gone from the ring feed, and called Cole. She almost walked into the whole operation, I said. But she didn't, he said. Stay the course. Declan helped me lock everything down that night. Encrypted drive, cloud copies verified, and the hard stuff moved to his place in case Kendra ever got curious. He was the only one besides Cole in the loop. This is absolutely insane, he said, scrolling. She really thought she could pull this off? She thought I'd either sleep with her or shut up, I said. She bet wrong. While I kept stacking receipts, Cole handled the legal side. He found a shark of a military divorce attorney and started quietly separating everything. Money into accounts she didn't know about, beneficiaries changed, her removed from whatever he could without setting off alarms. Documented, clean, defensible. Cole also called it early. Once cornered, she'd try the false accusation play. She'd already threatened it in writing, so we made sure she couldn't sell it. I collected notarized statements from Declan, Jordan, and 2 others about the cookout and her smear campaign. Added the ring footage too, every random visit to my house, dressed for a date, lingering, leaving mad. By the time his homecoming hit, we had a full timeline. Texts, voicemails, screenshots, ring clips, witnesses, and legal prep ready to fire. And Kendra had no idea she'd been building the case against herself. Kendra insisted on a big homecoming party. Of course she did. Nothing says devoted military wife like an audience. She spent 2 weeks planning it and posting nonstop. My soldier is coming home with all the usual emoji theatrics. Cole fed it, told her he wanted a real celebration, that he missed everyone, that he just wanted to feel normal again. He even suggested inviting the people who'd been icing me out. Said he wanted the whole crew there. Kendra ate that up. More eyes, more phones, more, look how supportive I am. Saturday afternoon at their place. Around 45 people confirmed. Cole flew in the day before and stayed with me, told Kendra he wanted to surprise her at the party for maximum impact. She loved that too. She thought she was setting the stage for her big moment. She was, just not the one she expected. The party was in full swing by 3 p.m. Backyard decorated with red, white, and blue everything. Tables, catering, a rented speaker system. Kendra was in her element, floating from group to group, accepting compliments on her outfit, her decorating, her dedication to her soldier husband. I showed up early, stayed in the background. A few people gave me weird looks, the ones who'd bought Kendra's version. I didn't engage, just waited. Declan was positioned near the back door, phone ready, recording as backup. At 3:30, Cole walked through the back gate. Kendra spotted him first. The performance began immediately. She sprinted across the yard, threw herself into his arms, sobbing loud enough for everyone to hear. "Baby, oh my God, you're home. I missed you so much, every single day." Cole hugged her back, smiled, played the part perfectly. The crowd cheered. Phones came out. Content was being created from every angle. For about 15 minutes, everything looked like a perfect military homecoming story. Cole made the rounds, hugged people, shook hands, thanked everyone for coming. Kendra stayed attached to his side, touching him constantly, making sure everyone saw the performance. Then Cole asked for everyone's attention. "Hey, can I get everyone to gather around for a sec? I want to say a few words." The crowd formed a semicircle in the backyard. Kendra beamed beside him, already anticipating the praise. Cole raised his glass. "First, I want to thank all of you for being here. Coming home after a deployment is always surreal. You spend months in a totally different world, and then suddenly you're back, surrounded by the people you love. It means more than you know." Murmurs of appreciation. A few welcome home shouts. I also want to thank my wife for holding things down while I was gone. Running the house, taking care of Scooby, being here when I got back. Kendra's smile widened. This was her moment. And I want to thank my best friend Gavin for keeping an eye on things, for being someone I could trust completely, for being a brother in every way that matters. I nodded back. The crowd was still warm, still unsuspecting. Then Cole's tone shifted. "But I learned something while I was overseas. Something important. I learned that loyalty isn't just a word you throw around. It's a standard. It's how you act when no one's watching. It's what you do when it would be easy to do something else. It's what you choose when you think no one will ever find out." The vibe in the yard shifted. People could feel something coming. And I learned that not everyone in my life meets that standard. Kendra's smile flickered. She looked at Cole, confused. "So before we keep celebrating, I think there's something everyone here deserves to know. Because some of you were told lies about my best friend while I was gone. Some of you believed those lies. And I think it's time you heard the truth." Cole pulled out his phone, connected it to the Bluetooth speaker. The speaker clicked. He walked over to the projector I'd set up against the back of the house. Kendra had asked me to rig it for a homecoming slideshow. She just didn't know which one. "What are you doing?" Kendra asked, her voice suddenly tight. Cole didn't answer. He pressed play. The first text hit the screen, from Kendra to me. "He chose the military over me. How pathetic is that? Putting his duty over his own wife?" The yard went silent. Kendra's face went white. Then, the threat. The text where she said she'd accuse me of assault if I told anyone the truth. Word for word. On a screen, in front of 45 people. The slideshow kept rolling. Months of ring camera footage, voicemails, more texts. But by that point, the yard had already made up its mind. Nobody said a word. Kendra stood frozen, her face cycling through shock, then panic, then rage, then back to panic. Her hands were shaking. "This is taken out of context," she finally managed. "He's lying. They're both lying. This is some kind of setup." "Kendra." Cole's voice was calm, controlled. Everything on that screen is time-stamped and verified. Every text is saved on multiple devices. Every voicemail is backed up. Every piece of footage has metadata that proves when it was recorded. There's nothing to lie about. You documented it all yourself. She tried the tears, turned them on like a faucet. Baby, please, I was lonely, I was confused. You were gone so long and I didn't know how to handle it. I was gone serving my country, Cole said. And you were trying to sleep with my best friend while posting about how much you loved me online. The crowd was murmuring now. People were looking at Kendra with a kind of disgust I'd never seen directed at another person. Even the people who'd believed her lies about me were staring at her like she was a stranger. I stepped forward, didn't raise my voice, didn't need to. Just looked at the friends who'd iced me out over the past 2 months and said, for the record, I never touched her. I never wanted to. But I did keep receipts. Because that's what you do for your brother. Kendra made one last attempt. Tried to storm toward me like she was going to attack me or grab my phone or something. 2 of the guys in the group stepped between us without me even asking. I think you should leave, one of them said. She looked around the yard. 45 faces staring back at her. Not one ally. Not one defender. Not one person willing to take her side. Her Instagram career as a military wife influencer was over. Her marriage was over. Her reputation was over. She grabbed her purse and practically ran to her car. I watched her drive away through the back gate, tires screeching as she peeled out of the driveway. The party continued, believe it or not. People came up to Cole and me for the next 2 hours, apologizing for believing her lies, asking questions about what happened, expressing support. Declan made a toast to friendship and loyalty that actually got a little emotional. By sunset, it felt less like a homecoming party and more like the air had finally been cleared. The fallout was everything we'd prepared for and then some. Socially, Kendra was done by Monday morning. Screenshots of the screenshots. Stories shared and reshared. Half the town knew what she'd tried to do before the week was out. Her Instagram went private, then got deleted entirely. The military wife brand she'd spent years building was radioactive. Legally, Cole filed for divorce the following week. His attorney took that evidence file and used it to gut every bit of leverage Kendra thought she had. No alimony, no benefits, no piece of the savings he'd built during their marriage. She walked into negotiations thinking she had cards to play. She didn't have a hand. Financially, she was cooked. She'd been living off Cole's income the entire marriage, working maybe 15 hours a week when she felt like it. Suddenly, she had nothing. No income, no savings, no one willing to help. Her family was humiliated. Her friends disappeared the moment she stopped being useful. About a month later, she tried one last play. Filed a complaint with Cole's commanding officer claiming physical and emotional abuse. Made up incidents. Named dates and times. Investigation opened. Cole questioned. 48 tense hours. Then the investigator reviewed the same evidence file that had already ended her marriage and her reputation. No merit. Kendra was officially warned about filing false reports. Cole got a clean record. Full honorable standing. Kendra got consequences. About 6 weeks after the divorce was finalized, Kendra showed up at my place. Not Cole's place, mine. Because Cole's new apartment was in a gated complex, and she couldn't get past the call box. So she defaulted to the last address that used to open for her. Old habits. It was a Tuesday evening. Cole and I were in my garage going over a quote for a commercial job I'd just landed. He'd been helping me with the numbers. Turns out the guy who can coordinate supply drops in a war zone is pretty useful when you need to price out 50 sheets of cement board and a dumpster rental. My Ring camera pinged. I glanced at my phone and almost choked on my drink. Cole. What? I turned the screen toward him. Kendra's car in the driveway. Her sitting in the driver's seat, mascara already running, tissues in her lap. Full production value before she'd even knocked on the door. Cole stared at the screen for about 3 seconds. Then he laughed. You want to handle it or you want me to? I asked. Together, he said. Same way we handle everything. We walked to the front door. Opened it right as she was raising her fist to knock. She looked terrible. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean she looked like someone who'd been running on fumes for weeks. Hair unwashed, no makeup, sweatpants. This was not the Kendra who used to show up in heels and a sundress trying to seduce me. This was the version that exists when there's no audience left to perform for. Cole, she started, and the tears came immediately, on cue, like muscle memory. Please, I made a mistake. I made the worst mistake of my life, and I know that. I've been going to therapy, and I've been working on myself, and I just need you to hear me out. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Please. Cole leaned against the doorframe, crossed his arms, didn't say a word. She took that as an invitation to keep going. I was lonely, okay? You were gone, and I was scared, and I didn't know how to handle it. I'm not making excuses. I'm just explaining. I never actually did anything with anyone. I never crossed that line. It was just talk. Just stupid, desperate talk because I was falling apart without you. I couldn't help it. I snorted. She shot me a look. This is between me and my husband. Ex-husband, I said. And you're on my porch. Cole still hadn't moved, hadn't blinked, just watched her the way you watch someone try to return a clearly used item without a receipt. Kendra, he said finally, you called me pathetic. I didn't mean, you told my best friend I couldn't satisfy you. That was just, you threatened to tell the police he assaulted you, in writing, to cover up the fact that you were the one chasing him for months. I was scared, you filed a false abuse claim with my commanding officer, tried to end my career. My career, Kendra, the thing you used to call pathetic. She was full-on sobbing now. Hands shaking, nose running, the whole thing. 6 months ago, this would have worked on half the people we knew. Now it just looked like someone running a play they'd already been benched for. I've changed, she whispered. I swear to God I've changed. Just give me one more chance. One. I'll do whatever it takes. Counseling, therapy, whatever you want. I'll sign anything. I just can't do this alone. Cole looked at me. I looked at Cole. We had one of those silent conversations you can only have with someone you've known for 16 years. Then Cole looked back at her. Kendra, I spent 8 months in a combat zone thinking about coming home to you. You spent those same 8 months trying to sleep with the guy standing next to me. You didn't just betray me. You tried to destroy both of us when it didn't work. And now you're standing on his porch asking me to forget all of that because you're lonely again? He let that hang in the air. You're not here because you've changed. You're here because you ran out of options. There's a difference. And I learned it from you. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I stepped forward slightly. Not aggressive, just present. Kendra, you gotta go. Gavin, please, just talk to him for me. I did talk to him. I showed him everything. That's how we got here. She looked back at Cole one more time, searching for something. A crack, a hesitation, some flicker of the guy who used to send her flowers from 6,000 miles away. There was nothing there. That guy didn't live here anymore. Go home, Kendra, Cole said. Not angry, not cruel, just done. Whatever home is now, but it's not here. It was never going to be here again. She stood there for another 5 seconds, tears still falling, hands clenched at her sides. Then she turned around, walked to her car, and sat in the driver's seat for a solid 2 minutes before starting the engine. We watched the whole thing on the Ring camera from the kitchen. You good? I asked. Cole grabbed his drink off the counter and took a sip. Yeah, I'm good. We went back to the garage and finished the quote. Never talked about it again. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.